All right. I hope I'm in the right place. I am going to just double check, get into Facebook. Of course, my computer has updated or done something. I don't even know. So it's not allowing my camera to work. So I can't do the way I usually do things. But we're here. You're going to get to see projects and fun things. So hopefully that will be okay. And I will get the camera thing on my computer fixed for next week. So thank you for joining me for Facebook Live on Thursday night. My name is Christy Hillock. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and my business is CJ Card Creations. I am so glad that you found me, and whether you're watching live or in the replay, I hope that you really enjoy everything that I have prepared for you. Hey Mom, thanks for being here. So, let's see, a few things to talk about first. Let me look. I've got a class at my house in person on Monday of next week, so the day after Easter. And so I haven't put all the links in yet, but I will put a link for you to sign up for that. I also have actually 2 classes to go for April. That's the month we're in, right? Thank you for sharing. Yes, 2 classes for this month. So the first one is targeted for my casual stampers. And so you'll make 4 cards and you'll receive all of the cardstock that you need, as well as designer series paper. You'll get a whole half pack of the Daffodil Afternoon designer series paper. And then you'll get a PDF with pictures and all the instructions that you need to make those 4 cards, and also this sampler, which the frame apparently needs to be cleaned. So I apologize for that. But I am really excited about that sampler. I think it will be a nice decor piece in my kitchen once I put it up there. And then if you are interested in the Avid class, that one uses the Daffodil Afternoon, Daffodil Delight, I think, bundle. And you will make 2 each of these 4 cards. And I have some good instructions there. And I am thinking that I will also do a video because those little daffodils are a little bit fiddly. So anyway, those are my classes. There is 1 link and then both classes are explained in it. So hop over there for more instructions. And if you have any questions after that, just reach out. I'm happy to help you. And then I'm also offering an InColor club. So all of the InColor products you will receive over the course of the club, which is 5 months. So starting in May and going all the way through September. So each club group has 5 members. So just, it may take me a minute to get that filled, but definitely would love to have you join. And then I'm also doing, oh, and let me just show you these pretty colors. Oh my gosh, these are the new InColors. So there will be a link that explains all of that in detail as well. But these colors are amazing. All right, and then let's see, the product shares. So you can get a little bit of all of the new designer series paper or a little bit of all of the new ribbons for a fraction of the cost, because we'll divide each pack up between 4 people for paper and 5 for ribbon. And that way, you can kind of play with everything and see what you really like and what's fun to work with and that kind of thing. So there will be another link for that. And then all of these things, I can't actually do any ordering until the catalog goes live on May 3rd. So I'm just kind of taking like bookings for them right now, but there won't be a bill for it until May when the catalog goes live and the club is full, or the share is full. So I think that is really just about everything that I wanted to tell you. I do appreciate everyone who can like and share my videos. If you do share, then please make sure that you also comment shared in the comments of this video, and that way I know that you shared and I can enter you for a prize. So this week I have a new pack of the In Color Jewels for Janie. So congratulations, Janie. I will get that to you probably next week at class. So I went, I have been pulling out retiring products as I go through and trying to figure out, what I wanted to highlight again and just make sure that you knew was leaving. And paper is, of course, all leaving as well, all of the printed papers. So I made 2 of this style of card. And so this one used I think it's like Plentiful Plants or something, designer series paper. And I loved this wood grain on the back side. So it just has a card that tucks in. You can also stick a gift card in there if you want to. This one I used Forever Fern for the image stamps, and then To a Happy Future Ahead is actually from a new stamp set called Framed Occasions. And then the Sprig Punch is retiring, and then this is from our new, I think, Bow Punch. It was in the January to June mini catalog, and it is carrying over. So then I also used the same gems that Janie won, and I just thought that turned out really nice. I feel like you could do this for graduation, for a wedding. It is a little bit more masculine, but definitely doesn't have to be. So that's one sample. And then this one, I used I totally don't remember the name of this paper, Artistic Expressions or something like that. But it is gorgeous with the gold and the rich colors and everything. And so I also wanted to pull out the peony bundle. That is sadly retiring. Peonies are one of my absolute favorite flowers. So actually my peony plant in the backyard is, it's not blooming or budding or anything yet, but it's starting to come up from the ground. So, I guess there are peony shrubs and peony trees or something like that. I'm not great with all of that side of things, but ours is the more shrub variety, so it dies off to the ground every year and it just comes back bigger and better. And so I'm excited to see what it will do. Regardless, this is a distinctive stamp, so you see a lot of texture within the stamp. And then both of these just use 2 punches that are carrying over. The Label Me, let's see, Fancy is the little one and Lovely is the bigger one. So that is that. And then I just used a different peony stamp for the inside. And then we're going to kind of play Choose Your Own Adventure tonight with the sample that I'm going to make for you live. So I've got just kind of a whole mess of cardstock here. The first thing that I'm going to do is bring in my Stampin' Trimmer so that I can get this piece of designer series paper cut and scored properly. So this is from I really should know these names. We've only had them for a year or something, but let me look it up real quick. Nope, not coming to me. Okay, this is from this Simply Elegant designer series paper. And then the peony was Expressions in Ink paper. So I believe that all of these papers are still available. The first one was Bloom Where You're Planted. So there you go. Now you can go search those a little more easily. So this is a 6x12. When you order my paper shares, this is the size of paper that you get. And so I did want to also just show you some things you can do with it. So we are going to take this, let's see, we want it to be 5.5. Let's get that lined up there and bring in my trimming blade. So we'll get rid of that 1/2 inch. And then I'm just going to rotate it and take off 1 inch. This paper is not directional, so it's a little bit easier to think through cutting and scoring and everything, but this can be done with directional paper as well, as long as both sides aren't directional. So you just kind of have to play with it a little bit to figure out which way you need it to go. And again, this one's not, so this one's a little bit easier, but we are going to score at 4, at 8, and at 10. So there is that. And now I'm just going to burnish these score lines. Oh, and I don't even think I'd shown you the other side, but it is beautiful gold. Really just makes a huge impact. So I thought this paper would be fun to play with. It also feels a little less feminine to me. So I think you could use it for anyone, which is always handy. So we'll do that and get all of that burnished. And now I'm going to find some adhesive if that's possible in this mess. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is just seal this flap down because it is just going to be, folded over and stay like that. So there is this piece. And now this is where we're going to make the pocket. So I want to make sure that my adhesive stays all the way over to the edge of this paper and get that down well. And that's it for anything on this. Now I decided that I really liked how the red looked. So I think we're going to go with red. Now this piece of paper is a little bit interesting because I think this is white, obviously, with the gold, but then on the inside it is, I think, just basic gray, but vanilla. And I don't usually mix white and vanilla. So we're going to kind of see how this goes. It just makes it a little more challenging, but I think that it's doable. So we'll just glue this down to a piece of real red cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And, oh, let's see. I cut that wrong. So we actually wanted to take off, we wanted it to be 5 1/4, not 5 1/2. So let's see if I can get this done without causing complete chaos. And I think that will do. All right. So back to what we were doing. Okay, so now we can line this up on here, and it's just going to be centered on this panel. So it does come out just the same size as a regular card. Okay, so now we've done that. And then what I did was bring in 2 pieces of basic red that are the same size. So one is going to be for the inside and one for the outside. And these are 3 by 4 1/4 each. So one we will tuck in here, and then one will be for the front. So I still feel like white is what needs to be on the outside, just because, I don't know, I don't use vanilla a ton, so sometimes I struggle to know what it looks good with, but I think this will work here. So now is the choose your own adventure part. I brought in a bunch of different stamp sets. Some are retiring and some are not, that we can choose imagery and sentiments from. So I've got Amazing Silhouettes and Eden's Garden that provide the images. These are just kind of scrolly, I don't know, we don't have stamps that look like that. So if you have an opinion, just type that on into the comments so that I can see what you're thinking. And then while you're pondering the imagery, I also brought in 2 stamp sets that have sentiments because of course I didn't want to use Eden's Garden for sentiments and images. So we have sunny sentiments and inspired thoughts, and I have no idea if they are retiring or not. I cannot remember. So I can look those up while you are thinking about which things you like. Sunny Sentiments is on page 38. And I am pretty sure that it is going. Yes, it is. And then the other one, Inspired Thoughts, is on page 52. And I think the stamp set is sticking around, actually. It's just the bundle that is retiring, perhaps. Hopefully that's right. Sometimes I get confused with the way they list things on the retiring page. All right. Hey, Janie, I'm glad you're here. You won, so I'm glad that you made it in time to find that out. Okay, so with this paper, do we want to do this Eden's Garden image, or do we want to do this vine image? All right, so 1 vote for Eden's Garden. And let's see what else. Janie, you'll have to go back to watch the start to see how we got to this point and also to see what you won. So I'm feeling like we'll go with Eden's Garden because it is, I like that this has a lot of texture to it. So I think that'll be pretty. I have no idea why there's vellum in this card or this stamp case. You just never know what you're going to find. So bring this in, and I am going to do this with Real Red ink. So bring that over. So just a little bit of tap, tap, tap to make sure I pick up enough ink without smooshing it in there. And then I think kind of like that will work. Let's see how we did. So I'm pushing my stamp down, but I am not rocking it because I don't want to accidentally pick up if I got ink on the edge of the rubber here. If you smoosh too hard or rock it, then you can actually transfer ink from here onto your cardstock, which is infuriating. Ask me how I know. I did it a bunch of times today, actually. I'm glad you like Real Red. I don't know, I don't always go for reds. I tend towards pinks and purples more, but I think this is going to be pretty. So now I'm just deciding if I want to do anything else here or if we want to call it good. I just kind of feel like around the edges needs a little something. So I'm going to bring in another block and pick another stamp. And I think for this one has these little berries. I think they're berries. Tassie would eat them, so, hopefully they're berries. And I'm just going to hit the corners. And then I also, nope, we'll do that in a minute. Okay, so those 2 are done. And I am going to go ahead and adhere this to my Real Red mat. So get that lined up, and then we will center this on the card front. All right. I love those times when I work myself down to like 3 square inches to work in. And that's kind of how it's feeling at the moment. So, oh, that went on crooked. Fortunately, foil is a little more forgiving. So we can get that lined up better. Yes, that is much better. Okay, so here, this is the part that I feel is a little bit weird. My thought was that since there is more vanilla showing, that I would do a piece of vanilla for the inside. But because there is some white showing, I could do white. I don't know if anybody has any strong opinions either way, but I'll give you a second to tell me if you do. Yeah, again, just a little curious on that one, but that's okay. And then while I'm waiting, I'm gonna bring in a piece of real red and punch it with the Label Me Lovely. Hey, Aunt Pat, I'm glad you're here. All right, so I think red is the color that I want to do here. I'm just going to pop it up like that. I think that'll work. And then you guys are very quiet on the whole choosing your own adventure side of things. So you're making me make choices, which I wasn't expecting to have to do. But if that's where we are, then that is what we will do. This one, these are much bigger sentiments. So I think unless we wanted to do, nope, a happy hello to you won't fit either. So we're going to scratch that. Okay, well, thank you, Janie. I'm glad you think that will work. And then I'm just going to find, I had another sentiment stamp set. What did I do with it? Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like it's probably staring at me and I just don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, inspired thoughts. I feel like we could do trying to make sure I'm going to pick one that's going to fit. We could do thinking of you on your special day or sending healing thoughts your way, because also I feel like if you want to send food to someone when they're recovering from surgery or, COVID or whatever, that a gift card is a really nice way to do that. So maybe, although actually this card is kind of fancy, so maybe we will just go ahead and do thinking of you on your special day. All right, so I am going to pull that one out, and that could actually go for a wedding too, or baptism or graduation, all sorts of things. So yay for the multi-purpose sentiments. All right, there is that. Now I'm just going to grab a scrap of white, and I think we'll go with basic gray ink for the sentiment. Might change my mind, who knows. I'm just going to make sure that I lined it up straight. Yes, that will look good. Okay, so go right there and close that up for the time being. Okay, so this is the Label Me Fancy. And just line it up so that it's nice and straight and centered. And there it is. Okay, we are getting down to the end of this whole project. So I'm going to adhere this right here and just get it centered and straight. So I finished season 2 of The Witcher last night, which was entertaining. And I'm reading this book called Evil and Emerald, and it's the third in this series. They're mysteries. But the protagonist is a female unmarried woman in Singapore in, there are cars, I think it's like the 1920s. Oh, I didn't actually want to do that just yet. So she's really an entertaining and deep character. I mean, it's really quite good. And there are some of the cleaner choices that I make sometimes. So like I said, this is the third one. And I really am enjoying it. So I'm hoping that this weekend I'll have a little bit of time to read it and possibly finish it. And that is it for book club with Christy for the night, but I would recommend finding that. And if you can't find it off the title, let me know and I'll text it over to you. So I think that we just need a little bit of fancy here. So we'll do that one, and then, you know, me in threes. So I'm going to grab my sprig punch and get that. And let's see, I think I want this to go down more than out to the side. So we'll do that, and then somewhere I buried some dimensionals. So if those will come to hand quickly, then we'll pop this little section up. And I am down to the very last bit of this sheet of dimensionals, which is good because for some reason these have not peeled nicely, like the backing or whatever has been kind of finicky. So hopefully the next pack that I open won't do that. And so it's kind of weirding me out. I haven't watched in Facebook the last few weeks since I started doing the StreamYard broadcasting. And tonight I'm having to be in Facebook because of the camera issue. And there are captions flying across the screen now, and it's really kind of distracting. It's funny, I just hadn't seen that since it started. Or maybe I changed a setting, or who knows what goes on. But that, of course, is not straight. So there we go. All right. So that is the front of our card. Now I'm going to bring back in this vanilla panel, and I think we'll just go with the same stamps that we had already chosen, but I'm going to stamp off so that they're not quite so big. And I think just like that will look nice. And I'll bring in my cute little berry sprig here. And maybe one more there. Okay, done with stamps. Get all that mess out of the way before I cause problems. And we will adhere this to our mat. And throw that on in the inside, and I think that we have ourselves a card. So I hope that you all enjoyed this project tonight. I think that it's a really simple fold that you can, even if you forget the actual dimensions that I will put in the description here in just a minute. But even if you forget them, I think you could actually kind of work it out on your own, which is nice. The ones that are crazy and confusing sometimes can be just more than you feel like messing with. But oh, I'm glad you like it. So I'm going to bring back in my other two samples. I'm still not sure I got that very straight, but it's fine, right? And then I forgot, but I have these. These are called the Classic Matte Dots. And they come in white, vanilla, gray, and black, which is perfect for this card. So of course we are going to pop some of these on here. I think that we need some black on the front just to kind of throw some contrast. So we'll go there, and one more just right there in the center. Oh, hey, Debbie. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you like it. I actually am really proud of myself for these. They're all very different, but very fun and really pretty quick. And so I hope that you enjoy these. If you do make this, make sure you go over to my CJ Cards Stampers group, I think is what it's called. It should be linked up at the top of this page, but share your own creations over in that Stampers group. And if you have any questions or anything that you would like to see in the future, please let me know. Hit that like button and the share button, and I hope that you have a wonderful evening and a very happy Easter. Thanks again for joining me tonight. Bye, guys.